sponsor presentation of the Academic Libraries North Conference. Before we get started, I'm just going to run through a little bit of housekeeping. So we've got a chat and a Q&A function. So if you could use the chat for discussion and the Q&A for any questions that you have for Nicola, she'll take those questions at the end. If you can't access the Q&A, we know some people aren't able to. Please do use the chat function, but just put the word question before your question. If you need to turn on captions, you can do that by clicking the three dots on the top bar, then settings, then accessibility, and then you can toggle to the always show captions in my meetings option, and then you'll have the captions. We ask all delegates to abide by the code of conduct, which can be accessed via the delegate brochure and the ALN website. We really want ALN to be enjoyable for everyone. So if you do spot anything inappropriate, please send us an email and we will deal with it. So now I'm going to hand over to Nicola Palmer from OCLC, who is going to talk about Together We Advance Further, Faster. We're delighted to welcome OCLC as our gold sponsor this year. Over to you, Nicola.
Hello, can you hear me all right? Yeah. Okay, welcome to this session. Together we advance further, faster. I'm Nikki Palmer. I recently joined OCLC as the Sales Account Manager for the North of England. And today I want to talk a little bit about what makes OCLC different and how OCLC research accelerates and scales library learning, innovation and collaboration, with a focus on some key projects that that have been taking place over the last 12-18 months. We're interested in the same things you are. We partner with libraries and we look to them for both insight and inspiration in an ever evolving environment. So that being said, WorldCat and WorldShare are hopefully probably familiar to you. WorldCat is the data, and WorldShare, the platform, are the two things that underpin everything we do. WorldCat is the world's most comprehensive database of information about library collections. At the end of last year, there were over 543 million bibliographic records and more than 3 billion holdings associated with these. WorldCat is the manifestation of the creativity and innovation of the staff of OCLC and thousands of librarians. It's unique in scale and unparalleled in data quality, and it makes library collections findable and accessible around the world. Upon this sits WorldShare, the shared infrastructure technology platform, and it means participating libraries benefit from shared technology. Allows for things such as shared servers, simultaneous and automatic software updates, and integration with other OCLC services. But most importantly, OCLC provides a shared community, and users of OCLC products are part of an active community where our partners help guide the developments and advancements. Pull all these together and you get WorldShare Management Services, which is a series of applications sitting on the WorldShare platform. It's cloud-based and includes all the applications you expect from a library management service. Users expect immediate access to information personalised to their specific needs and delivered in exactly the way they prefer. So inspired by extensive user research and realised through our wide range of products and services, the Library on Demand represents a vision for OCLC and for libraries to adapt and thrive. This all feeds in to OCLC's role as a cooperative community and voice for all libraries. And it's through this library advocacy we can improve both the effectiveness and reach of libraries by helping to advance the values of libraries, increase the impact and efficiency of libraries, and help libraries overcome challenges. And one of the ways we do this is through OCLC research. It's a huge part of OCLC, and this commitment to research is what makes us different. It's a community resource. It serves the global network of OCLC member libraries, and its research efforts are devoted exclusively to the challenges that librarians and archivists face. We work to advance the OCLC mission to accelerate and scale library learning, innovation and collaboration that make breakthroughs possible. And we do this through original research and by engaging the community through convenings, cultivating understanding and supporting the sharing of knowledge, ideas and resources. The Research Library Partnership, also known as the RLP, provides research, programming and peer-led learning in key areas of interest to research libraries. We employ scores of library specialists and technologists who look at issues affecting the wider library community today, such as linked data, next generation metadata research support and sustainability. The more people involved in our research and the RLP, the better the research will be. So we'd love you to join. And as part of this research, the team publishes reports, which are a community resource to advance library thinking and promote discussion. It's important to know they are all freely available to everyone to read, download and share. That you can download them from the website. There's no paywall. You can just go onto our site and download them. So what I'm now going to do is I'll just share a few projects that have been run by research and I hope will resonate with you all here today. It's only a small sample of what's on offer, so please visit the link you see on the screen to find out more. So the first area I want to touch on is diversity, equity and inclusion. In 2017, the OCLC Research Library Partnership conducted a survey to explore if and how libraries were moving forward with work in diversity, equity and inclusion. This is a snapshot of the survey results that helped to document and illuminate something we already anecdotally knew, that institutions were struggling with creating inclusive and anti-racist descriptions. Other needs included building inclusive collections. This work helped to inform a separate project in 2020 in which OCLC research followed up on this topic in order to increase our understanding of the challenges faced by librarians. We conducted a series of semi-structured informational interviews focused on the difficulty of cataloguing topics relating to Indigenous people in respectful ways. These conversations took place between March and June 2020, with the first happening right at the beginning of the pandemic, shutdowns that were occurring globally. We interviewed 41 library staff across the world, and most interviewees worked in the context of an academic library. But we also spoke with staff at national libraries, independent research libraries and public libraries. These interviews helped us to characterise the problem, not only identifying structural barriers to doing the work, but the harms caused by not doing the work. And these two pieces of work helped set the stage for the Reimagining Descriptive Workflows project. The Reimagining Descriptive Workflows project convened a group of experts, practitioners and community members to determine ways of improving descriptive practices, tools, infrastructure and workflows in libraries and archives. The resulting community agenda draws together insights from the convening, related research and operational work that is ongoing in the field. It's not a how-to guide, but it is constructed to instruct and chart a path towards reparative and inclusive description. And the agenda is divided into two distinct parts. The first provides contextual information regarding the project and the methods used to create the agenda. It also frames historical, local and workflow challenges and tensions to consider when approaching inclusive and reparative metadata work. And then the second part offers a framework of guidance that suggests actions and exercises that can help frame institutions' local priorities and areas for change. And it also provides examples to inspire local work. It's our belief that all institutions hold power to make meaningful changes in this space, and all share collective responsibility. So why is this needed? Well, the motivation to advance inclusion and repair in metadata work is grounded in the observations that more inclusive descriptive data drives a more inclusive discovery experience. And the community of library and archival practitioners and other stewards of metadata have been falling short of our goals to be inclusive and welcoming to all. And this is summarised in a cataloguer's code of ethics published in 21. Cataloguing standards and practices are currently and historically characterised by racism, white supremacy, colonialism, othering and oppression. The report is not a how-to manual for repairing descriptions. Rather, it outlines the why of the problem space and suggests tactics for the way forward. Part of this is outlining the tensions that are inherent in anti-racist work and makes the case for why this work is needed. The report also identifies key concepts that are necessary in anti-racist work. These are white supremacy, the role of power-holding institutions, the need to relinquish power, and building trust. Finally, the report presents a framework of guidance which can be used within all levels of an organisation, from leadership to middle managers to individual contributors. The framework of guidance is as close to a checklist as the report comes. Readers can ask themselves which of these conditions are true for me at my institution and where is growth and learning still needed. In the survey, the author, Merrily, referenced earlier institutions were asked which areas they had changed or planned to address due to the goals and principles around DEI. Nearly 3/4 of responding institutions indicated that collection building was an area where they were already working to expand their capabilities. And in discussion with these institutions, they found this was still an area where libraries seek to find the way. So there's a recent report, Leading by Diversifying Collections, a guide for academic library leadership, which helps to illuminate some of these challenges, including prioritising DEI in staffing over operations, a lack of criteria for evaluating diverse collections, and overall downward pressure on collection budgets. Library staff from 8 institutions participated in structured interviews that took part in December 22 and January 23, and findings from these interviews are summarised in the blog post you can see on the screen. Findings include: what does diversifying collections look like? Who is undertaking this work and what are the motivations? What does this work look like now? What might this work look like in the future? And what are barriers to doing this work? This research helps to illuminate current practice in libraries and helps to inform both the library community as well as our product strategy, so we can support libraries in their efforts to include more voices in collections. The next area I'd like to touch on is the collective collection. OCLC research collectives collection work provides evidence and insight to support decision making into how cultural heritage institutions organise shared collections and services. And through this work, OCLC research is helping to create a more connected, collaborative landscape for libraries, archives and museums, with the goal of making collections more accessible, impactful and cost efficient. The operationalising the Art Research Collective Collection project, which was supported by a grant by the Samuel Crest Foundation with significant co-investment from OCLC, was designed to identify new possibilities for collaboration and partnership models that support sustainable, ongoing availability of the rich collections of art libraries to researchers wherever they may be. And 2 reports came out of this project. Key findings from the first report were: art librarians bring unique contributions to partnerships. Art libraries should seek collaborative opportunities strategically. They should be innovative in their approach to collaboration. They can help steward collections more efficiently and improve access to art research materials. Second report uses 3 case studies to illustrate existing collective collection partnerships with art research libraries, and it was published in April this year. And key recommendations that come from that report were to identify true need, contribution of values, mutually beneficial partnership requires understanding of the contributions and needs each institution brings to an endeavour, as well as the value the partnership creates. Clear articulation of the range of values, needs, and contributions each bring to a partnership, and making sure there's a good fit between the art library's strength and its partners' needs is critical. You can form strong bonds with shared vision. Collaborations based on a shared vision can expand the pool of potential participants and bring together unlikely partners in terms of size, type and location. Once identified, communicate the shared vision and its importance regularly to stakeholders and staff to strengthen the sense of common purpose. We need to manage change as collaborations evolve. Partners will approach change intentionally by planning for it and managing it, and communicate effectively to collaborate successfully. Another area which OCLC research has been focused is social interoperability, and the team have published a report looking specifically at this topic. The report explores social and structural norms that shape cross-campus collaboration and offers a conceptual model of key university stakeholders in research support. Information about their goals, interests, expertise, and crucially, the importance of cross-campus relationships in their work was synthesised from interviews conducted with practitioners from a wide range of campus stakeholders in research support. The report describes the network of campus units involved in both the provision and consumption of major categories of research support services, and concludes with recommendations for establishing and maintaining successful cross-campus relationships. To develop robust research support services across the entire research life cycle, individuals and units from across the university, including the library, must collaborate across internal silos. For effective social interoperability, the creation and maintenance of working relationships between individuals and organisational units in higher education requires a thorough knowledge of campus partners. 3 key strategies came forward during the report. First, invest in building relationships, take every opportunity to connect with others, be present. Also to find people who are hubs or connectors and ask for their help in facilitating introductions. And once you've established relationships, further solidify them by investing in shared or embedded staff. And secondly, you need to secure buy-in from other stakeholders. You must know your audience, take time to learn about their goals and pain points. It's critical. And only after you know your audience can you learn to speak their language. You need to learn to translate library speak into language that is familiar and appealing to others. And finally, try to offer concrete solutions to their problems that will definitely get them interested in partnering with you. The first 2 strategies work well much of the time, but you will need to troubleshoot and adjust. And we need to recognise that sometimes the effort is right, but the timing is wrong. You may need to be patient and wait until stakeholders are ready to work with you, perhaps because of their own resource constraints or because of personalities. Recognise occasionally people just don't want to work with you, and you have to find people who do. You need to be confident in your value, own the expertise that you have as a librarian and the value it can add to other parts of the campus. And finally, recognise this is a long process that will take time. Find ways to sustain your energy. So if social interoperability is the creation and maintenance of working relationships across individuals and organisational units that promote collaboration, communication and mutual understanding. And this report is available, and please download it and have a read. It's much more details. As I said before, it is freely available through our website. The final area that we'll look at in today's session is the student information skills gap. So we 175 students from fourth grade to graduate school participated in the Researching Students' Information Choices, Determining Identity and Judging Credibility in Digital Spaces project. The team designed an innovative task-based simulation study to investigate the point at which students determine whether a resource meets their information needs, including whether the resource is helpful, citable, credible, and what type of container it's from. Students use simulated Google search engine results pages to evaluate resources for a hypothetical school science project about the Burmese python. Quantitative data on their task decisions were collected, as well as qualitative data about what they were thinking during the evaluation process. The project included a team of science and education librarians, an LIC educator with experience through the system, an educational technologist, and information science researchers from OCLC Research, the University of Florida, Rutgers University, and New York University. And it was made possible by a grant from the Institution of Museum and Library Services. Why? The visual context and cues from print containers like academic journals, newspapers, and magazines used to help individuals identify a document's origins and measure its value. In the shift from print to digital, these cues are now obscured or more difficult to discern. We call this phenomenon container collapse. There are many assumptions made about how students interact with information online. And through this project, we're learning how information seekers' perceptions, behaviours, and decision-making are changing in the midst of container collapse. The RSIC project started in 2015 and it continues today. And its most recent publication in college and research libraries earlier this year focused on how students recognised and evaluated the preprints in the simulation. The project team is currently shifting focus to examine how students view open content and how their perspectives on access influence their decision making. You can find past publications and presentations, as well as updates about new publications coming out at the link you can see on the right-hand side of your screen. So finally, having whipped through that, I wanted to share with you the ways in which you can stay connected with both OCLC research and OCLC in general. Hanging together is a blog from OCLC research staff. It's particularly those that support the OCLC Research Library Partnership to discuss our work and the intersections we see among these different types of institutions. We visit partners, go to conferences, and take notes of the interesting things we see along the way. Additionally, research also has a group of listservs that focus on specific topic areas, and you can be selected to be part of these groups as well. Please sign up to both of these using the links on the screen. And finally, if you'd like to be kept up to date with all the latest OCLC research reports, events, products and news, you can opt into OCLC communications using this link on the screen. That just leaves me to say thank you for joining me. If you've any questions, I'll do what I can to answer them now, or feel free to reach out to me using the contact details you can see here.
Fantastic. Thank you, Nicola. That was a really, really interesting talk for us. We've got a little bit of time left for questions. So if you would like to put those in the Q&A, to start off with, we've got one question from Andy. There are some great things in the research outputs you covered. He asks, how does OCLC and your researchers decide what to focus on?
Lots of discussion, and the RLP has many members across the world, and we have obviously specialists within house, so it is a case of talking it through and who is there. I will say that the more people who join and the more people who are engaged, then the more likely you'll have your interests reflected in what we produce. So please, engage with us. It's there, it's open, and we want to talk to you.
Yeah, that's a good point, isn't it? You get out what you put in. So
yeah,
if people are interested in what Nicola's talked about today, do get in touch with her using those contact details. And that would be great to use this as a springboard.
Certainly the people in the States and across Europe are always wanting more people from the UK involved, and always asking us for people to input. So if you engage with us, then we can put your position forward and hopefully get more people involved.
That's really good to know. It is good to know. It'd be good to have more representation from the UK, wouldn't it, in these
Absolutely,
things?
always.
Yeah. Fab. I'm just looking to see if there's any more questions. Just check the chat. Okay, looks like no other questions then. So thank you very much, Nicola, for coming along today.
Thank you for listening.
Fantastic, thank you. The next session will be the parallel sessions in parallel room A and parallel room B, and they start at 11:10. But first of all, I'd just like to really thank OCLC for being our gold sponsors this year, and I hope that everyone found this presentation a really valuable and interesting part of the programme. Once this session is finished, if you go into either parallel room A or parallel room B, depending on the talks that you're interested in, and this room will close. Just to let you all know that there's a competition running across both days, if you haven't heard about it yet. It is a haiku competition. Create a haiku which describes your conference experience. For those of you who are off that day in English, a haiku is a Japanese poem of 17 syllables composed in 3 lines of 575. So off you go and see what you can do. You can submit your haiku anytime before 2 p.m. tomorrow, either via Twitter using our hashtag, which is ALN23, or you can email it to our conference email address, which is alnconferenceteam@gmail.com. We have some fantastic prizes. We have a £25 Amazon voucher from OCLC, Star Wars Lego from We Buy Books, cupcakes for the library team from Cortex, and an Amazon Echo Dot from EBSCO. So please do send us your haikus, and we'll bring this session to an end now, I think, as we are